and you'll start seeing we're live. Started. Bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a empezar en unos segunditos. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, and thank you for being here today. We certainly have a lot to celebrate. Our students are back to school. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Welcome to the MacArthur Park Community Schools Town Hall. Muy bienvenidos a todos. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Como escuchamos en la canción, estamos celebrando que los alumnos están regresaron a la escuela. Vamos a empezar y una vez bienvenidos al Foro Comunitario de la Comunidad de Escuelas MacArthur Park. So once again, good afternoon. Before starting our session, I want to inform you that this town hall will be presented in English and will have simultaneous Spanish translation. To listen to this presentation in Spanish, you would need to click on the globe icon at the bottom of the screen and select the language preference for you. You'll see it in the next slide. You will engage and listen to the presentation in the language you select. Muy buenas tardes a todos y bienvenidos al Foro Comunitario de la Comunidad de Escuelas de MacArthur Park. Antes de comenzar nuestra sesión, quiero informarles que este foro comunitario se presentará en inglés y tendrá traducción simultánea al español. Para escuchar esta presentación en español, deberá hacer clic en el icono del globo en la parte inferior de la pantalla y seleccionar el idioma que prefiera. Participará y escuchará la presentación en el idioma que seleccione. Si su dispositivo no admite interpretación, puede bajar la aplicación en su teléfono de Zoom y podrá escuchar la interpretación. I'd like to review some important points so that we all have an understanding on how to participate during today's session. During this webinar session, you will have an opportunity to ask questions of our panelists during the presentation. On your screen, you will see a Q&A icon and can type in your questions. At the conclusion of this presentation, we will have our panelists respond to as many questions that we can as time permits. Also, this session is being video recorded, and we're also on YouTube Live. And now I'd like to introduce our local district superintendent, Mrs. Frances Baez. Mrs. Baez, welcome. You're on mute, Ms. Baez.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Arreguín. It is such a pleasure to be here to support Dr. Smith and his team as they lead the MacArthur Park community of schools and all of the celebrations that we have going on. We have opened our schools and we're so excited. We're happy to see our students back to school with their teachers. And I've already seen so many images of students actively learning and engaging in the way that we have planned for them. So with that said, I welcome all of our families. Thank you for your persistence and your patience. Each day, things are becoming easier in the way that we complete our health screening for our students and the way that we maintain safety. All of the measures are in place. All that we've planned for is now paying off as we welcome back our students. I want to share some good news. Just a couple of weeks ago, there were approximately 200 more students who have graduated high school. So we're so very happy that as we move along, we continue to increase the number of students who are reaching graduation. So that is one big celebration. That is the momentum that we carry with us as we move forward every single day, that we have more students who have reached graduation. I also want to share with you one important opportunity. There's been an important legislation that went through that is allowing our students who got a 1, a D, or an F to request a grade change. You can go to your school and request a grade change if you've got a 1, a D, or an F. Some of our students are already taking an opportunity to request that grade change. So some of our students are now qualifying for athletics, programming, financial aid, acceptance to college. So please take advantage. This is a small window of opportunity that ends the end of August. There's been an extension to August 30th. This is a one-time opportunity given the circumstances that our students had to experience as they went through distance learning. And once again, I want to thank all our families for moving forward with getting that baseline test for students to come back to school. And as we get into that rhythm of keeping that safety and keeping learning going, persist, don't give up. Stay patient because it's really worth it to see how happy our students are to be in class and our teachers engage with their students. Without further ado, I want to now introduce our fearless leader who has been there advocating for the best for our students and for policies that make a difference for all of our students in the MacArthur Park Community Schools and all of her board district. I want to welcome board member Monica Garcia from Board District 2. Welcome, board member. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Superintendent, and hello, MacArthur Park communities of schools. I have to tell you that I was celebrating those graduates of the class of 21, and I want us to remember how important all the work that we do together. It is about helping our students reach that graduation moment so they can go on prepared to make other choices in their life. I want you to just take in a moment of reflection to recognize that we are doing something amazing in LA Unified. Our schools are open again in this pandemic. and we have confidence of our ability to manage and move forward because we know that our families and our schools and all of our LAUSD employees very much believe in the power of education and the power of community. So I recognize this is a challenge, and I know we have all prepared well to meet this challenge together. It has been a joyful experience seeing all of our children and staff at schools, and it has also been a very intense experience moving into this next phase of learning. So I want to welcome you. I want to thank you. I want you to know that we absolutely do love you, believe in you, and have high expectations. And I hope you hear our superintendent when she says persist. We need you to model patience and courage, and we welcome warm demanders. We want advocates for our children. So ask for what you need, make your questions known, and remember, in this pandemic, because we believe that testing and tracing is part of our safety, we are going to invite every student, every employee, and eventually our community partners. But right now, we need everyone to participate because it is part of our safety plan to keep schools open. So I will remind us, we're all moving towards graduation. We are all stronger together, and it is an honor to celebrate and support you. Know that we are here. My email is in the chat, but it's monica.garcia@lausd.net. There's a lot of support for you this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Adelante, Superintendent.
Thank you very much, Board Member Garcia. We appreciate your leadership, your advocacy, and your strength and your love for all of our students and our families and our school communities. Without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Charles D. Smith, who is a fearless leader with lots of strength, who's here to support the MacArthur Park community of schools. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Have a wonderful town hall with all of our families.
Thank you, Superintendent Baez. Thank you, Board Member Monica Garcia, for your kind words and for your leadership. Good evening, MacArthur Park communities of schools, families. Welcome to the 2021-2022 school year. I hope you've enjoyed your summer break and are ready for an amazing new school year as we begin with renewed energy and excitement. As I open our town hall meeting tonight, I want to thank you for joining us. And I ask that you plan to join us each month on the third Tuesday as we will continue to share important information as it relates to the MacArthur Park communities of schools. Last year, we worked as a community to support teaching and learning for all of our students using technology tools that have changed our educational practices as we've known them forever. As we begin this school year, we will continue to be innovative and transformational in our approach with an equity lens at the forefront to ensure that we are making genuine connections with all of our community to ensure that students are able to maximize their full potential. We will do this first, ensuring that our campuses and school communities maintain the highest level of safety standards. As you know, Los Angeles Unified School District remains committed to maintaining the highest standard for safety for public schools in the nation. We will continue with the highest levels of safety protocols with upgraded air filtration systems, regular cleaning protocols, face masks, hands washing, consistent COVID testing, and offering COVID-19 vaccinations for everyone 12 and older. Please know all of our schools are committed to providing the best educational experience through consistently making connections using warm demanders to ensure that students continue to be positioned to thrive. Again, I thank you for joining us this evening, and I hope you find the information shared tonight informative and useful. Our agenda, next slide, is around tonight is centered on 3 areas. We will highlight our back to school experience and share some best practices to ensure your family is set with your attendance goals. I will share the district's plan regarding the pathway to recovery and respond to any questions that you may have tonight. As we transition, I have one quick video from our superintendent, just encourages us with an excitement and energy as we get ready for this new school year.
Welcome back on board. Welcome back to Friends. Welcome back to recess.
Welcome back to sports. Go.
Welcome back to class. We're back, we're fully in person, and we have the strongest safety standards in the country. Welcome back to school! Yeah!
Thank you for that wonderful message, as it really reflects what our day one looks like, right? Looked like. Beginning on day one, our principals, teachers, staff received our students with excitement, joy, and love, because everyone was thrilled to be back on campus. Our early education centers and elementary schools were open for the first time for full day instruction. Our middle school and high school students are currently participating in full day, full schedules, 5 days a week, where they're moving from classroom to classroom. Students from our schools have shared their excitement about being able to return to campus for learning in person, as well as socializing with their peers. As you continue to navigate this first week, please continue to use our family guide to support you to make positive steps into the new school year. Next slide. We have experienced 2 days of in-person instruction in our schools. Students and staff are making positive strides for normalcy. Let's take a moment to see a few highlights. With the opening of the new school year, we have added some new leadership to some of our campuses. Tonight, I would like to invite one of our new MacArthur Park principals, Mr. Pablo Mejia, who has entered into a new chapter of his career by leading the School of Business and Tourism at Miguel Contreras Learning Complex. Mr. Mejia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes a todos. My name is Pablo Mejia. I'm the proud principal of the School of Business and Tourism at the Miguel Contreras Learning Complex. I'm excited to be here because many years ago, I lived in the MacArthur Park area, Rampart area. I remember attending Commonwealth Elementary many years ago, and it's just a full circle. And I'm proud to be here, to be at the School of Business and Tourism. Estoy bien orgulloso de estar aquí, ser el director de la Escuela de Negocios de Turismo. And what I want to tell the MacArthur Park community is that business and tourism I want business tourism to be the neighborhood school. I want the school that the students choose to want to come to, that they know since elementary school and in middle school they want to come. So I'm excited to be back home in MacArthur Park, and I expect the best from my staff, and my staff will do the best to serve this community. And I thank everybody here. And just a reminder, we're here to serve and to be able to provide the best education that we can for our students. And also the Miguel Contreras Learning Complex is a great complex, and we want all our students to come. So thank you very much for being here. And aquí estamos para servirles a todos. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mejia. We are so fortunate to have you join our school community as the new principal at the Business and Tourism School at Miguel Contreras. As you know, being present at our school is a huge role in your child's success. Tonight, we have invited Mr. Rudy Gomez, our Pupil Services Attendance Coordinator, to share some best practices and expectations as it relates to student attendance. Mr. Gomez, please join us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Smith, and good evening, my beautiful families. Welcome to the 2021-2022 new school year. I'm excited because our champion students are back. We are back to better. I just wanted to kindly remind everyone of our attendance goals and to stress the fact that attendance matters each and every day. Next slide, please. Now, depending on how many absences your child accumulates throughout the year, please note the different attendance bands in which they will fall under. Our goal here in Local District Central is to ensure that all of our champion students fall within the excellent attendance band, meaning having no more than 7 absences. So let's keep it under 7. Next slide, please. Research states that suggests that as many as 7.5 million students miss a month of school each year, raising the likelihood that they will fail academically and drop out of high school. Students who are chronically absent in preschool, kindergarten, and first grade are less likely to read at grade level by 3rd grade. For every 1 day missed, it takes a child 3 days or more to make up for lost instructional time. Please remember that when our champion students are present, they are being responsible. And by being present every day is a reflection of their work ethic. Next slide. My beautiful families, we are in this together. Remember that education begins at home. And you are your child's very first teacher. What you see before you are some suggestions. Talk regularly to your child about the importance of attending school every day. Review with your child the attendance goal of not missing more than 7 days in a school year. Create and implement morning, afternoon, and evening routines to get them ready and prepared for school. Create a backup system or alternate plans for getting your child to and from school. Plan family vacations during school breaks so that your child does not miss a day of learning. Attend parent-teacher conferences and regularly monitor your child's progress. Ask your child about their school day. Access your LAU's the parent portal for school updates. Make your school aware of issues of any issues that may be affecting your child's attendance, for example, health and or family challenges that you may be facing. My beautiful families and champion students, by showing up every day is the foundation of a successful future. Back to you, Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez, for your valuable information that will help us plan to be present daily as long as it's safe to do so. Thank you so much. As you know, Los Angeles Unified has continued to work to help ensure that students and families are provided with support during this challenging time. Today, I will review current actions the district is taking to help with COVID recovery as our path to recovery. In addition, we will share updates about new federal funding the district is receiving to support our students in maximizing their full potential. Most importantly, we want to hear from you. And the district wants to know what we can do to help with the funding to ensure that students' success is achieved. Next slide. Hearing from the community is a critical piece to how the district decides what to do with these funds. During the past school year, we engaged our community around Local Control Accountability Plan, the LCAP, and Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant, among other opportunities, and asked for your feedback. The planned investments we'll share today came from your input and provided during the town hall meetings, focus groups, and conversation in other spaces. We've listened, but we want to keep listening to our stakeholders. Help us identify what still needs to be done to support our students and to support you, our families. Next slide. Over the past year, the pandemic has disrupted and our traditional educational processes, altered the educational, social, and emotional development of our students, and exposed some major fault lines in the educational equity system, educational practices, even school infrastructure. As a result, both federal government and state of California have directed unprecedented amount of one-time expenditures to schools to facilitate safe school reopening and addressing the educational needs. With this new support of state and federal governments, Los Angeles Unified has unprecedented opportunities to innovate and make long-lasting investments in our students' health and recovery from over a year of learning during the pandemic, and to accelerate their learning so that they can successfully graduate and become college ready. Next slide. The investment the district is making with these one-time funds are referred to as the path to recovery. This path will help recover, heal, and accelerate student achievement. The 4 pillars or focus areas for the path of recovery are health and safety, acceleration of learning, student wellness, supports for specialized populations. The money the district is getting comes from many sources, each with their own timelines, restrictions, and expiration dates. With certain fundings, the district has identified many ways to address student need in our schools beginning this year. But for our new funding opportunity, we also need your help figuring out what else can be done to improve learning and wellness for all of our students. Next slide. Before hearing about what new things the district can do to support students, we want to take a few minutes to review some existing programs and special services the district is investing in for our path to recovery this year, starting with health and safety. For students and families to feel comfortable returning to campus and learning the ways we know are most successful for student achievement, it is imperative that we continue to maintain the highest standards of safety and remain leaders in the nation for safe school campuses. The district has invested in increased custodial staffing, upgrades to air filters, and PPE. In addition, the district has been providing on-site COVID-19 periodic testing, vaccinations, and contact tracing as a critical component of health and safety measures of in-person instruction. Next slide. The second pillar is acceleration of learning. This pillar represents instructional support for all learners and makes up majority of the investments the district is committing to with additional funding up to this point. This pillar is about intentionally supporting students to reach grade level proficiency and beyond, and may include things like increased opportunities for personalized instructional, one-on-one and small group tutoring, expansion of our primary promise, summer school, and educational technology. Next slide. The third pillar focuses on student wellness. Student mental health needs increased during the pandemic. Los Angeles Unified families have experienced higher job losses, higher rates of illness and death to COVID-19, and housing and food insecurities. Our children bring their grief, trauma, anxiety with them when they return to classrooms. With this in mind, a significant amount of investment will be made over the next year to provide resources dedicated to the whole child, with a focus on mental health services, counseling, child welfare, attendance, and crisis response support. The fourth pillar represents the district's commitment to providing intensive support to students' unique needs. By allocating funds for services to support targeted specific group students, the district will be able to be responsive to individualized student-specific groups, needs, and provide necessary resources to accelerate learning for those disproportionately impacted by school closures due to the pandemic. These investments will address the needs of these student groups through fostering a safe, welcoming, and providing a proactive support. Next slide. Additional investment to the district is making on giving schools autonomy over additional funds to address students' needs, increase access to early educational programs for students district-wide, help high-need families connect to better engaged schools, the creation of robust strategic data evaluation branch within the Los Angeles Unified will help make sure we're doing what's working. Resources to expand partnerships and community organizations that provide direct services to students and families. Now that we've talked about investments the district has already made for this school year, we want to talk about a set of new funding the district is receiving. The latest round of COVID release funding we're receiving from the federal government is referred to as ESSER 3, which stands for Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief. It is important to note that these one-time funds are set to expire at the end of 2023-24 school year. The funding we're talking about today is not going to continue for several years, but it is intended for a short-term support in response to COVID-19. LAUSD will receive $2.6 billion through ESSER 3. The district will continue some programs that start this year, and we need your input on services for additional ones. ESSER 3 funding will be used to address student academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs, as mentioned before, as well as the opportunity gaps that exist before from unfinished learning from COVID-19. You can tell that aligns very closely to the path of recovery shared earlier. Support for students focusing on learning loss among all students and providing mental health supports and services. Health and safety focuses on sanitation and cleaning of school facilities and repairs and improvements to reduce the risk of virus transmission and exposure to environmental health hazards. Health and safety also focuses on delivering strategies and implementing public health protocols, including the greatest extent practical, policies in line with guidance in the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, and for reopening and operating school facilities. Now that you've seen many of the things the district has already planned for this year and learned a little more about the new money the district will be receiving for this school year, we would like for you to help us identify what can we be doing. Your feedback is extremely valuable to us as it will help us make decisions that directly impact our schools. The question I will pose, next slide. What new specific actions can the district invest to ensure that our students thrive on their path towards recovery? Think about it. What did you not see listed that is important to you? What might this look like at your school? Please use the thought exchange to share your thoughts and ideas. To access the thought exchange, you can scan the QR code on your phone or go to tejoin.com and type in the number on the screen, 871-410-377. Once you join, select the language, and you will be able to review more important about what we just discussed, answer some questions about investments that are important to you, and share new ideas about what the district can do to support its students and its families in the next year. Please be specific as possible and share as many ideas as you want. Your feedback matters. I'll give you a moment just to use a QR code. If you have a phone, you can scan the screen and it will come up on your device. Select the language and be prepared to share your ideas. Next slide. We will use August for community engagement with various groups involving students, parents, teachers, classified staff, administrators, and community groups to learn more about their needs, similar to what we're doing now, our town hall meeting. After engaging with stakeholder groups, we will develop a plan for investing these funds in our district and submit it to the Board of Education in mid-October. The district's plan will then be submitted to the California Department of Education by the end of October. So we're gathering information, we're creating a plan, and we will submit our plan by the end of October. Responses from the thought exchange today will be considered in the development in the district's plans for ESSER 3 funds. Next slide. Thank you for attending and engaging in our ESSER funding meeting. We look forward to sharing more of the district's plan to continue investing with students soon. Now, at this time, we will respond to any questions that you may have. So what questions might you have at this time?
Dr. Smith, there's a question in the chat is asking for clarification. I'll read the question. Please verbally clarify the difference between physical school versus online school for special ed students and maybe the services provided.
Okay, so in-person instruction is in person 5 days a week at one of our school sites, whether it's elementary school, middle school, or high school. Our online independent studies program is through the City of Angels, where students will participate in the program designed at the City of Angels, uniquely for that student.
Okay. They want more clarification regarding the grade change. If you could clarify changing an F or D grade, what does that exactly mean?
Okay, students will have an opportunity to submit, meet with their teacher, meet with their counselor. If in the event that they have extended work to complete, they will negotiate that with their counselors and make sure that something is drawn up so that students will have relief to have credit or no credit for that class until that work is completed.
Okay. Otherwise, we've pretty much answered all the other questions in the chat, Dr. Smith. I don't know if there's any other questions that the parents have or anybody else has. They can type them in the chat. Oh, there's another one. Mr. Cortez, if you could read this one, please.
And as we're waiting for questions, parents, I just would like to remind all of us, if we can continue to meet with our schools, call our schools, and get set up. If you're not already set up on Parent Portal, please get set up on Parent Portal. You can call my office, you can email me. I can get a team that will help and support you to get registered for Parent Portal. Parent Portal is a great tool and resource, but it allows you to see real-time activity that's happening with your son or daughter, or children in your individual school sites. Also, you're able to easily access our daily pass, which makes our transition to school daily much smoother.
Okay,
And,
Dr. Smith, the parent would like clarification regarding special education. And I just want to let her know it does qualify for City of Angels, but there has to be an IEP at your child's home school. So yes, it does qualify for, special ed is qualified for City of Angels.
and we do have Miss Valerie Chow with us this evening. And Ms. Chow, if you have anything additional that you would like to add, you may join us.
Sorry about that. Yes, so if you're interested in looking into City of Angels for your child who has an IEP, then you would want to reach out to the assistant principal at your school site who oversees special ed. And then an IEP meeting would need to be held in order to discuss placement options. Since City of Angels is independent studies, it is important that your child is able to work independently. We do want to make sure that the student will still benefit from that type of program. So it would be a discussion held at an IEP meeting.
Okay, and we have some Spanish-speaking parents who addressed some questions. La señora María del Rosario Francisco dice, por favor, que los maestros les den más tiempo de cada periodo porque le llaman mucho a los padres. So she is concerned with the amount of phone calls that are going out to parents due to late arrivals into different classes. And she's requesting if teachers can allocate a bit more time between periods.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the question correctly. So she's receiving phone calls because the child was not in the class, or attendance wasn't taken appropriately, that show that the child is in class for that day, correct?
She's just saying that they're receiving a lot of phone calls when students aren't arriving on time. And she's asking if there could be more time set between classes.
Thank you. Thank you. We will continue to communicate with our schools. I will continue to communicate with my schools in MacArthur Park to ensure that there's processes and procedures with taking attendance in the classroom to help with that. So thank you for that question.
There was a question regarding the daily pass not working. I do want parents to know that the daily pass has increased capacity from day 1 to day 2. The ITD and Microsoft were able to increase capacity by 70%. So today we had a lot less problems with people being able to log on. We didn't hear of anybody reporting that the daily pass portal was not working this morning. So we want all our parents to know that the daily pass has been, the issue has been fixed.
Mr. Cortez, I'd like to also add to the daily pass question. So some families are having difficulty accessing the pass, maybe because of internet connectivity, even around some of our schools. So if that's the case, parents, you can pull out your daily pass early in the morning and do a screenshot and already have it ready versus trying to get it to go through when you're actually at the school site. So once you wake up, you can pull it out, do a screenshot. Also, if it makes it easy, since sometimes different parent, both maybe one parent or the babysitter and aunt, somebody drops off the kids. Once you get that QR code on the daily pass, you could also forward it to the person that's going to be dropping off your child. As we all know, schedules change, things happen. And so that would be one way of avoiding that congestion in the morning. And also, if you have more than one child, that also can take a little bit of time when you're in front of the gate trying to pull it out of your phone. So just some ideas so that we can get into our new routine until we no longer, someday soon, hopefully not need a daily pass at all. Thank you.
And thank you for sharing that, Ms. Araguin and Mr. Cortez. And families, I just wanted to thank each of you for your flexibility and your patience during the first day of school. I know that we had a glitch. We recognize we had a small glitch, but as Mr. Cortez pointed out, the glitch was repaired, and today was such an amazing day. It was just the same as the first because our students were excited on both days, but today was so smooth at many of our school sites. So thank you for your patience and your flexibility as we continue to work together. So it is a communal effort. We are working together, and I want you to know that we all appreciate your patience and flexibility.
So Dr. Smith, there's another comment in the chat about where they can get help for the parent portal that they do need some help. So where could they go to get help?
That is a great question. So please contact your school sites. Please email me. I will make a connection with our PACE administrator to make sure that we are supporting you. It's a process that anyone can walk you through, and we want to be intentional with getting you set up, because once you're set up throughout the year. You don't have to set it up again. And it's a simple process, but it's one that does involve some support, right? So we want to be able to provide that support from you, whether it's from the school site or my office directly. But please, my email is on the next slide. I will leave that for you. Please email me what school, your name. That way we can make a direct connection to get that set up for you. Thank you for that.
Dr. Smith, there's also another concern. A parent, Julio Tizol, pregunta, ¿por qué no se están respetando los protocolos afuera de las escuelas? Los niños y padres se amontonan y no hay distanciamiento y se amontonan porque los maestros no entregan rápido a los niños. Esto está pasando en MacArthur Park Elementary. His concern is just that protocols of, distancing are not being quite followed, that there seems to be a bit of a crowd when dismissal time is happening. And he says that it's because teachers are not dismissing kids fast enough at MacArthur Park Elementary.
Thank you for your concerns. If you could just do me a huge favor, we have your name in the chat. I would like to follow up with you. I know that MacArthur Park Primary Center has been working to ensure that we have multiple dismissal gates to help with the traffic and allowing students to exit the campus in a safe manner. And we will continue to develop that, continue to reflect, and continue to move forward. So I would like to follow up with you personally to see better understand your individual concern. Okay. Thank you.
And there's a couple more questions in Spanish that are being answered.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I know that everyone has had a busy week, an eventful week. So I do want to go to our next slide. So here you have our website address. If you highlight the QR code, you go directly to our website. Please, I ask that you follow us on Instagram at MacPark COS, MacPark COS. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For most recent updates, you can visit our website. Our phone number is listed there. My contact email is cds9991@lausd.net. I will follow up with any information that I receive. Again, my phone number 213-336-2765. And again, we will get back to you. We will make sure that we are being attentive to your needs. This is a communal process. We are working as partners, as collaborative partners together for the ultimate success of our students, because we want each of them to maximize their full potential. So thank you again. And our next slide. Please stay tuned and join us at our next town hall. As I mentioned earlier, our town hall will be the third Tuesday of every month. So go ahead and calendar at it. It's actually at 5 o'clock p.m. every third Tuesday, 5 o'clock. September 21st will be our next one at 5 o'clock p.m. The Zoom code will remain the same, 870-3040-8690. If you visit our website, you can always log in by clicking click here, and it'll take you directly to our Zoom link. You'll come right into the meeting just by clicking there at the date of the meeting, and we'll always be there. Okay, next slide. As you know, the MacArthur Park Communities of School team continues to grow. So we do have several team members here on the call with us. You see their names, their email, and we have listed there for you. But more importantly, we have a new location. As of Monday, we have relocated to our new location at 10th Street Elementary School. Please stop by and visit us. There's always someone here to support you. Our address is 1000 Grattan Street, Los Angeles, California, 90015. We have a new location. Please visit us. Thank you again for joining us this evening. Have a wonderful evening. I know you've had an amazing, busy week. So we have 3 more days to go, and we'll off to another weekend. Have a great week, a wonderful evening. And remember, Dr. Smith loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a great night.